know where we're going with these new collective bargaining agreement rules, but the Knicks are I talked to both of you guys. I mean, they're in a position where they're not Miami. They don't have two max players on their contract, under salary. There's no Adebayo and Jimmy Butler here. So they're in a position to go out and load up if they want to on another two max guys to go with Brunson and kind of build out that roster there. So that's why, from the Beal perspective, as far as the low cost on him, and then certainly with if a player like Towns, which I would certainly think would cost New York more than in a Beal deal.
Right, and we know the connections are there organically between the Knicks and Karl Towns, whether it's Gerson Rosas, now an executive with the Knicks, was the top basketball man in Minnesota during Towns' tenure. And also, obviously, Leon Rose was Towns' agent at CAA before he came over and took the president's job with the Knicks. William Wesley, very close with the Towns family. Karl Towns Sr. actually was at Leon Rose's first game as Knicks president. So the ties are there. I'm sure if it comes to fruition that Towns is available, the Knicks are going to consider it. CP, do you like the fit, whether it's Robinson going out or Randall going out, of Karl Towns being the Knicks' big move?
It's another one where offensively you like the fit. A good three-point shooter, good floor spacer. He and Brunson would be a nice duo, especially in pick and roll, pick and pop situations. So offensively, you like the fit, but defensively, where does he put you? Because teams are going to put those two guys in a pick and roll. And we just seen in NBA Finals where, the Denver Nuggets, they were able to get over the top based on an improvement in their defense. Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, Jokic was formidable. Jamal Murray was formidable defensively. You have to make sure that your pieces are complementing each other, not just on the offensive side, but defensively as well. And I just think having a Brunson in there, having RJ, who's pretty average, last year's defense took a step back, but he stepped it up in the playoffs. And if you're adding a Randall to that mix, you're going to have to find some solid defenders there. And it'd be tough to lose Mitchell Robinson in that regard because he cleans up so many of their mistakes.
Bobby, the guys we're talking about, Towns, Beal, it seems like they're on a relatively long list of players who could be available as we approach the draft and then the offseason. You're the Knicks. Who are you targeting? I mean, who's at the top, near the top, at the top of your list? Like, what names are you looking at as guys who could potentially be available?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the head. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens in Portland with Damian Lillard, of course, as far as I think we may learn a lot more about the situation there after the draft, as far as what the Trailblazers do at number 3. It's funny. It's all the players that we're mentioning are all these players who have signed these third or fourth big max contracts, right? It's none of them that are my colleague Brian Windhorst terms of the fun max. The fun max is after your rookie contract, and you're still having it's like you guys like raising kids, right? 8 and 9 years old is great, right? Man, when they start to become teenagers, it's a different story here and stuff. And that's almost like how we're equating some of these players here, who, whether it be from a cost standpoint, whether it be from a team like the Wizards, who have a different front office and are looking to basically tear down. I think what will happen is that New York, for at least this year, I think there's more competition for some of these players because, as we've talked about, these new CBAs, the teeth of these new CBA rules don't start until next year. So you would have eliminated a team like Miami or Golden State in a potential Bradley Beal sweepstakes, or Karl-Anthony Towns, or even a Damian Lillard here. So I think those are the names certainly to keep an eye on, just because of where each of the three organizations are respectively.
I wonder too. I mean, just looking ahead. Giannis, Milwaukee, Giannis extension eligible. I think some teams are keeping an eye on that and seeing if Giannis is going to extend, which I think I'd be surprised if he were to do that. I know reportedly he wanted the head coach that they hired in Adrian Griffin, but I think teams are keeping an eye on that. But I don't know, if you can hold your fire based on the idea that maybe Giannis leaves the Bucks and comes to you. It's a risky proposition.